Welcome back to Alliance for Charitable Gifting of Real Estate. Cami Baker here, Unity Radio 97.9 FM. I just want to say thank you to Manny, our producer, who has been taking these recordings and creating shows even when we are in a pandemic and can't go into the studio and we're not live right now. Manny, we just want to thank you, and Ernie Floyd, the owner of the studio, who is diligently working hard to get an even larger antenna so that we can service that many more people. I just want to give them a quick shout out. Now, Tracey is going to get into the 3 T's that she taught me and a whole lot of other people. I remember about 3 years ago, my book, Mingle to Millions, had come out. I was in Miami doing a bit of a book tour, and Tracey had an all-day, like 6 hours on Zoom with a group of probably 20 or 30 people. And even when I was in Miami, I just sat under a palm tree and got some internet and was on the class all day learning about these different things. And, you know, I feel like all these different mentors, yourself and your invaluable information and so many others have all just come together so that now I can truly help people at the highest level, including sharing you with so many people. Let's talk about the T's.
Yes, the 3 T's. You know what? It's so funny. It's this work evolves, as we all do, as the marketplace evolves. But there are certain key principles, if you will. There's core sort of pillars in the whole journey. You know, the yes journey, as I just shared. That are always true. And the 3 T's are one of those, or 3 of those pillars in the sales process. And it's as much of a mindset as much as it is a situation. So the first T, and I'll say the 3 T's and then I'll tell you what they are, what they mean. So the first T is the take. The second T is transaction. And the third T is transformation. And those may seem like sort of interesting words to use as it relates to the sales process, but let me explain how they relate and how it's easy to get stuck sometimes in one, or, you know, maybe one or the other, or between 2 of them and never get to the third. So the take is really what I would call the win-lose, right? It's the win-lose sort of dynamic. We all are familiar with the sort of the competitive feel of a sale. The most typical is like a used car salesman, but even in the real estate world, we can still find ourselves in this sort of feeling like we're in a competitive environment where the only way for you to get the commission that you feel like you deserve is you have to negotiate, and it feels like one person loses and the other person wins, even just a little bit more. The win-win doesn't feel really like a goal in the take environment. So most of us try very hard to not go there, to not, you know, get stuck in that. But sometimes in our industry, in this industry, it feels a little bit like we get pulled into that. Don't you find, Cami?
When I think about the 3 T's, and when I've explained this, when I think of the take, it's like, you know, when you're being taken advantage of, when someone is taking you to the cleaners, when it's the old-fashioned sales guy with the weird bar mustache and he's taking advantage. So that's how I feel about the take, because to your point, someone's taking advantage and someone's losing. So yeah, so that's the first T.
Yeah. So, and whether you find yourself on either end, feeling competitive, like you can't get what you need unless you take it, or you're on the other side being taken advantage of, it doesn't feel good. Okay. So we always want to transcend into at least getting squarely into the next section, the next pillar, and that's the transaction. And this is where I think most people, most salespeople, most realtors feel very comfortable in the transaction. And this is what we would call a satisfactory, you have something I want, and you're willing to pay for it. You know, it's purely just a this for that kind of transaction. but it really isn't, it's not specifically unique. It's kind of agreed upon. It feels like a win-win in as much as we all agree, but it's not really much deeper than that. There's not a lot of relationship being built there. It's usually either one and done or very rare. Is there a future transaction after that? So it's kind of one-dimensional, I would say. And so we tend to fall into this just because we don't know how to get to that next level. Yeah, Cami, what do you think about that?
I remember when you explained it a couple of years back, like I can imagine sitting at the table as an agent and the transaction. I have what you want, you have what I want. I want to get as much money from you as possible and do as little work as possible. And you want to get as much work out of me and give me as little money as possible. So we negotiate and we settle on something that we both agree to because we both need what each other has. And we do it, but we don't really feel great about it. It's a transaction.
It's like, okay, that was done. We're done.
Yeah.
We're good. Yeah. Okay. You know, but there's, yes. And that really is a missed opportunity in so many levels, because when we're just doing transactions, when we just have transactions in really, I would say this goes beyond just our literal sales process or the back and forth and the negotiation process in our business. This is true, I think, of everything in life, our relationships in general. When we just stay at that transactional level, we really miss out. So the third level, this is where we all really want to aspire to really embrace. And this is what Cami has done so well, I believe, with this alliance for charitable real estate. I just think that this hits it right on the head. So you'll see what I mean. Transformation is where your transaction transcends into much more of a true win-win, where people feel like not just their needs got met, well, you had what I needed, you sold it to me, we're done. It goes beyond that. There's an element of, I feel like I'm doing more good in this. If I'm helping you, I feel like I'm helping in Cami's case, a charity gets to win also. Everybody is happy about it. That transformation piece doesn't have to be woo-woo. It can be very real, very grounded in the relationships, the alliances that you build in this transformation piece. And that's what we all should be aspiring to. And Cami is really ingenious coming up with this beautiful blending of the win-win, 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 win. Right? It just keeps going on and on. So,
well,
yeah,
I wanted you to share the yeses and the T's, because I really want my audience to hear your brilliant mindset and how you can really just take things step by step and really understand what is the next step. So, when we're in transformation now, instead of me doing as little as possible and getting paid as much as possible and vice versa, like I have something so good and I want you to have it so much, and you see the value and you want to have it. And I understand my value. I understand my worth. I'm not going to discount who I am. I claim my worth and I do ask for that. But you as a client understand and that I'm worth that. And so then when we have this transformation at the end of the day, I feel like I gave you everything I've got. And you feel like you got every penny's worth, to the point where you want to tell people about what we did. And you want people to work with me. And, it was you explaining this to me that helped me both in real estate, in coaching, in everything, to really take a look at that. Am I stuck in transaction and just doing what I got to do to get by? Or am I really going the extra mile and making sure that that person has a transformation no matter what the business is?
Yes, yes. And it's very easy to kind of get caught in this mentality that, well, I would be more inclined to the transformation that if I had different clients, or if I, it's the clients that are bringing that energy. I'm not, I'm all for transformation, but they don't want it. Well, you know what? This starts with the beginning part of the yes journey. If you're messaging, if you're communicating, if you're compelling people, attracting the right people with the right message right from the beginning, so that they're saying fully yes to themselves, yes to you, right? As part of that process, yes to your modalities, and then the yes to invest that flows where everyone feels invested, not just in the process or the transaction, but in one another. They're truly invested. That's what you want. And that's as much, well, I would say that's all on you. Because, you know what, not to be woo-woo, but we all create the reality in our business and our lives that we intend or unintend. So if you've been doing it by default in the past and you want to get there, you want to be in that transformation piece, and you want people to easily, effortlessly say yes to invest, then really, truly, this is the opportunity right now during this supposed crisis, sort of weird, place we're in right now. This is the perfect opportunity for recreation.
No doubt about it. And as we go to break, Tracey won't say this about herself, but her coaching is hundreds of dollars an hour. And if she is willing to give you 15 minutes to take a look at what you've got going on and share some insight about how your messaging can get better, when we come back from break, I'll share real quickly about how she helped me to realize that this is the full commission listing. It's not the charitable gifting of real estate. Yes, it is that too, but that's not how I can lead off to get people's attention. Once people know that they can get a full commission, then they want to hear about how to do it. But if I just come out the gate, hey, let's all give property away, people shut down. And I've tested some of that. So, all right, we are with Unity Radio 97.9 FM, WUTY 979 FM.org. We will be right back for our last segment with Tracey.